All right, so here we go, guys. This is for your notes, like I said, okay? Two-way frequency tables. The idea is this. A frequency table has to do with percentages, right? Like a two-way frequency, at least. It gives us percentages. But right now, you'll notice they've given us two different charts. And what we're going to do is we are going to fill them in. But let's kind of read through it. Let's see what they want us to do. So it says, the students in a seaside school are to have extra swimming lessons if they cannot swim. The table below gives information about the students in grades 7, 8, and 9. Okay? So, part A, if you look at question A, says complete the table on top. So, if you want to find out the total number of 7th graders, you should probably add the total number that can and cannot swim, right? So, the total number of grade 7 students would be 180. I mean, that's not that tough. Like I said, most of this is not that difficult to do. All right. The total number of 8th graders would be 168 plus 11. That's actually 179. Okay. The total number of 9th graders is 172 plus 3, so that's 175. So to find the total number of students, I'm just going to add 180 plus 179 plus 175, and I get 534. Okay? So I get 534. Now, that total needs to be correct in both directions, vertically and also horizontally. Okay? So I'm going to add my numbers vertically, the total of kids that cannot swim. That's 120 plus 168 plus 172. All that added up together is 460 students that cannot swim. That can swim. The total that cannot swim is going to be 60 plus 11 plus 3. So that adds up to 74. Now, if you add 460 plus 74, you get 534. If you add 180 plus 179, 175, you get 534. You guys got to check that. Okay? This right here is a check step for you guys. Okay? This number better add up both directions, because if not, you miscounted somewhere. Okay? And then your numbers and your answers are going to come out all off. All right? So far so good. Just kind of finishing a table, right? No big deal. Part A. So we're done with part A. How many students need swimming lessons? Well, 74, right? Because the ones that cannot swim, 74 total. So I'm going to write 74. How many students are in the 8th grade? 179. Good. So 179 students are in the 8th grade. How many of the 7th grade students cannot swim? 60. Okay, so you guys see why you got to finish up this table? Okay, all your answers are right there. You just got to find the right number. All right. Eventually, we're going to get to the next table, okay, during the same problem, but just hold on. How many students in grades 7 and 8 can swim? So in order to do that, I got to get 120 plus 168, right? Because that's the number of 7th graders that can swim and the number of 8th graders that can swim. And when I add those together, I get 288. Okay? How many students are there all together in grade 7, 8, and 9? So I'm hearing you. Anybody else? 534. Okay? All right. So far, so good? No big deal? Right? Okay, now, the two-way relative frequency table. They say, create that based on this data. All right? So, this is how you do it. In order to create a frequency table, a relative frequency table, in other words, percentages, that's what they want, percentages. You're going to divide these numbers here. Okay, if I can kind of show you here. Or actually, let me use a highlighter. It'll be a lot easier. I'm going to divide this box, those numbers right there, okay, by the total. Okay, so I'm going to divide those numbers by the total. So let me put a little note here. Divide by 534. Now, I heard you say each one or what? Yeah, individually. Okay, everyone individually. So, 120 divided by 534. Okay, now I'm going to show this right here. Normally, I don't do this because then it just makes it look messy. But 120 divided by 534 comes out to 22%. That's the number I want, the percentage, 22%. Okay? Now, to find out the percentage that can swim in grade 8, I'm going to do 168 divided by 534. Okay, so I'm dividing. Let me change the color for my answers here. 22%. So 168 divided by 34 is going to 534 is 31%. If I get 172 and divide it by 534, I'm going to get 32%. So, to find the total that can swim, all I got to do is add my percentages. So, 22 plus 31 plus 32 comes out to 85%. Okay? And then I got to do that again for the next column, the cannot swims, those calculations in the middle. Okay? All right here, this is where it's going to happen, just right there. The rest I can figure out by adding on my own. Okay? So let's go ahead and do the division for 60, 11, and for 3. Okay? So if I do 60 divided by 534, that gives me 11%. And again, I'm going to repeat. I do not normally show the work when I do this. I just give you the percentage. I'm just showing you for one of these what's happening in there. Okay? I'm dividing by the total. Okay? Each one of that piece of data by the total. All right? So for the next one, it's 11 divided by 534. And that equals to 2%. And then for the last one, I'm going to get 3 and divide it by 534. And that gives me a 1%. So if I add all that together, I get 14%. Okay, 11 plus 2 plus 1, that's 14, so 14%. 85% plus 14% equals 99%. Okay. So that means that my totals on the right side better add up to 99%. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add them up. So this is 33%. And this is 33%. And this is 33%. So that adds up to 99%. Perfect. Right? My numbers made sense. Horizontally and vertically, they all make sense. They all align. They all give me the right information. Okay, so now that I've done my two-way relative frequency table, if you want to kind of write a note for yourself, just put like percentages right there. Let's answer the questions that they ask us. What is the relative frequency of students who are in the 8th grade and cannot swim? In other words, percentages. 8th grade and cannot swim. 2%. There you go. What percentage of 9th grade students can swim? All right, 32. You guys can see it. It's right here. I'm going to kind of highlight it really quick, but I'll erase it. But it's this right here. Okay, that's 9th grade students that can swim. All right, what percentage of students cannot swim? 14, right? 14%. And the last one, what percentage of students are 9th graders? Well, that's going to be 33%. That's right here. 33%. So, I mean, is the work difficult? It's tedious at most, right? It takes a little bit of time to do it. But it's not hard. You're just dividing and writing percentages. Okay? Not that big a deal. The answers that we got, they're not that hard to come up with. You just got to observe. Okay? So let's do this again. But notice this table here is a little different. Okay, sorry about the weirdness there with that. But this table is a little different. All right, I think I figured out why it does that. Last time I was messing with it, whenever I preload graphics into it, that's what I've done here. I preload the graphics of what you guys are doing. In order, when I scroll through it, since this isn't a full-on, i7 hardcore gaming computer, sometimes it can kind of do that slowdown. So that's why I thought at first it was that. It actually turns out that it's the processing of that. So anyway, notice how this table is a little different, right? It's not just the numbers on the inside and they left all the outside corners empty for me. They actually did a little bit, but left some stuff for me that's empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling out the stuff that looks obvious to me. But first, let's read the problem. It says, a principal of a school of 484 students collected information about how many of the students wear glasses. So what's the total number of students? 484, right? So I'm going to write that right there. Okay, 484. Now, I can figure some stuff out. I can add the 40 plus the 36 to get the total number of kids that always wear glasses, right? So that would be 76. That's not too hard. I can figure out the total number of kids that never wear glasses by adding 161 plus 144. So that's 305. Okay? Now, I can also add across the total number of girls. 36 plus 55 plus 144. I can add that up. That comes out to 235. Can I figure out the total number of boys based on what I have right now?
You have to add the 76 subtract 305 and the 76 to get the sometimes wears glasses.
So you're telling the sometimes. I was asking for total boys, but okay. So if I want to figure out the sometimes wears glasses, let's do that since that was mentioned, right? I'm going to get 484 and I'm going to subtract 305 like you said. I'm going to subtract 76, right? So to get this number here, I'm going to get 484 minus 305 minus 76. And the answer is 103. So let me put that right there. I'm going to erase it right now because I know we got to put answers there. But I just want to make sure you guys see that. In order to get the 103, we got the total number of kids and we subtracted the never wears and the always wears to give us the sometimes wears. Okay? So we subtracted. Now, since I know the number 103 now, can I figure out this answer here? How would I do that?
You have to add subtract 44 and 235.
To get the yellow one?
Subtract 55.
Yeah, because then you get the total and then you
Okay, I got you.
You can subtract the one. You can add the 161, add the 40, and subtract it from the total.
So you're going to find out, but you still don't know the total number of boys though.
But can't you just do 44 minus 235?
Okay, so you're like 3 steps ahead, but okay, so I got yours. So here we go. So listen up, guys. I'm going to go with both. The first time I asked, how do I find the yellow box? Okay, and we had some explanations, but Rhiannon said, and right now you can check to see if this is the same thing you were going to say. Rhiannon said, get the 55 and take it away from the 103. Okay, so is that the same thing you were going to say? So yeah, that's the way I would do it. Okay, there is another way, the way you mentioned. But if I do 103 minus 55, what I get is 48. Okay, and now I can figure out the total number of boys by adding 40 plus 48 plus 161, which comes out to 249. Okay, now remember, this number is key because that's what you're going to be dividing everything by. Okay, but you want to make sure that it adds up correctly. If we added 249 plus 235, we do get 484. If I add 76 plus 103 plus 305, I do get 484. Okay? So that's the way you check. You want to check that because if you don't, then all the rest of the work you do could be wrong. Okay? If the numbers add up, you're good. Okay? Now, let's answer some questions here. How many boys sometimes wear glasses? That'd be 48. Thank you. How many students wear glasses some of the time? 103. How many students never wear glasses? 305. Thank you. Are there more boys or girls in the school? More boys. Okay. Next one says, create a two-way relative frequency table for the data above. Now, notice they didn't give us one, so that means you're in charge of drawing one.
There's not enough space, we can't do it.
Well, there's space. All right, here we go. So the categories are boys, girls, and total. So I'm going to kind of...
We can draw 4 or 5 lines.
I'm going to have to draw 3 to split them up this way. And then I'll do some more after. Now remember, this is boys, girls, total. And then across, I need to create 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And the categories are always, sometimes, never, and total. Okay? So there you go. I created my own. It's not that hard to do. Remember, all you got to fill out is the inside portion. You do not have to fill out the outer edges because those you just got to add them up. The inside portions are the ones you have to divide out. Okay? So just the inside. Now I'm going to put a little hint for us here. I'm going to say divide by 484. Right? That's my total. So I got to divide everything by 484. So I'm not going to show the division this time, okay? I'm just going to say it out loud. So to fill in the boys that always wear glasses, I'm going to get the number 40 and divide it by 484. So 40 divided by 484. You know what? I'm just going to show it one more time.
8%.
So you got 8%. All right, good. 8%. Awesome. 0.08. Remember, you got to move it over. So 8%. Now, to find the girls that always, I'm going to get 36 and divide it by 484. Okay, and that comes out to 7%. Thank you. All right, we're going to do the sometimes. Are we good? All right. So the sometimes boys, that's 48 over 484. So we get, you might get a 0.1, so 10%.
Do we round? Like say it's 157 to 16?
Yeah, you could try to go to the nearest whole. That should be okay. And then the next one, 55 over 484. So that's going to come out to 11%. All right, we got 2 more to go. The boys that never wear glasses, that's 161 out of 484. So when you divide that, you get 33%. And then the last one is the girls who never wear glasses. So that's 144 divided by 484. So when you divide it, you get 30%. Okay? So now add these up sideways, add them up vertically, make sure they add up to the same number. So let's see, if we add them up sideways, 8% plus 10% plus 33%, that's 51%. For the girls, 7% plus 11% plus 30%, that comes out to 48%. So add that together, we get 99%. Now, I did have a student ask me before, why doesn't it come out to 100%? Because this is supposed to represent 100% of the data. And that's true. It should always be 100%. But the reason why sometimes it comes out to 98, 99, 100, sometimes it even comes out to 101 is because we are approximating, right? So sometimes we're rounding up, sometimes we round down. So the number doesn't always come out to exactly what it should be. So 99%, if you get like 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, feel good that you're pretty much dead on, okay? Because we are approximating, so it's okay to have some error, okay? Now, when we add vertically, this is 15% here, 21% there, and 63% there. Now, if you add those numbers sideways or vertically, the ones on the edges, you will get 99%. So we're good, okay? We're good. So now let's answer the questions that they want us to do. So we're at part G. What is the relative frequency of boys who sometimes wear glasses? So yeah, we're going to have 10%. What percentage of girls never wear glasses? 30, right? 30%. What percentage of students are boys? 51%. And what percentage of students always wear glasses? 15. So notice the questions aren't hard to answer. The work is strenuous at times, right? Because you kind of have to go through it. But it's not terrible, okay? It's pretty easy. The hardest part, I think, the part that I remember when I was in high school, I used to hate, was creating the second table because I had to do a bunch of divisions over and over again, right? So I used to hate doing that, but it wasn't because it was hard. It just took some time. All right, so let's do one more. But before I do that, any questions on the front page, either 1 or 2? It's just division and addition. That's pretty much all we're doing, right? Division and addition. All right, so let's move on. Last question here. So notice here they said, you're going to draw your own. We're not going to start anything for you. You're going to be responsible for creating your own table. We will give you information so you know what you need to write down, but you got to figure it out, okay? So it says, draw your own two-way table for the given information to answer the question. It says, in a class of 32 students, so let me kind of highlight this here, okay? There are 32 students. It says, there are 8 girls who play basketball, and then they say 5 boys who did not. So what are my categories?
Girls, boys, play basketball, does it?
There you go. There's girls and boys, and then some play basketball, some do not, right? All right, so let's create a table here. So we're going to need girls and boys, and they got to play basketball and not play basketball, okay? So I guess we're going to need a total. So let me put another little line here. So there's going to be boys, girls, and total. Okay, this little box won't be used. And then they're going to play basketball, not play basketball, and then we're going to need a total. So we're going to put play, don't play, and a total. So there's my table. So I need to know what are the 2 things I'm comparing, boys and girls, playing basketball, don't play basketball. Okay? So let's see. They say a class of 32 students. So that means the total is 32. It says there are 8 girls who play basketball. So 8 who play and 5 who don't. Okay, so in a class of 32 students, there are 8 girls who play basketball, 5 who don't. Part A, how many boys played basketball if there were 15 girls in the class? So, okay, they just gave me a hint. There are 15 girls in the class. So I'm going to write that down first. 15 girls. If there are 15 girls in the class, then how many boys are in the class? You subtract, right? 32 minus 15. Well, that gives me 17. Well, if there's 17 total boys, 5 who didn't play, how many did play? Say it louder. Go ahead. 12. Can I figure out how many girls don't play? 7, right? Can I figure out the total of people that play now? Yeah, I got how many? 20. And how many people don't play? 12. Do the numbers make sense to add up to 32 vertically and horizontally? Yeah, 17 plus 15 is 32. 20 plus 12 is 32. We're good. Okay, we're on this. Okay, so let's answer the question. How many boys played basketball? 12. All right, B. Create a two-way relative frequency table. That means do the percentage table. So we're going to do the same table right now, but this time we're going to do percentages. So I need 4 lines here and 4 lines here. Actually, I just need 3. This will be total. I'm going to put don't. This one's going to be they do. Is boys, girls, total right there. We're not going to use that. I'm just going to write don't play instead. So there's no confusion. Remember, the only thing I got to figure out is the inside boxes, not the ones that are on the edges, okay? Those are the only ones I have to divide out. What am I going to divide by? Thank you. So divide by 32. That's my whole thing for filling that stuff out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say it out loud this time. I'm not going to write it down. So if I get 12 and divide it by 32, I'm going to do this first box, the boys that play, okay? That comes out to 38%. Now, the girls that play, I'm going to get 8 and divide it by 32. That's 25%. Now, to figure out the boys that don't play, I'm going to get 5 and divide it by 32. That gives me 16%. And then to find the girls that don't play, I'm going to get 7 and divide that by 32. And that gives me 22%. Now I can do all the additions. Okay? So 38% plus 16% gives me 54%. 25% plus 22%, go ahead, is going to be 47%. If I add that together, check it out, my percentage is 101. Right? Which isn't supposed to happen, but when we're approximating, sometimes it can. Okay, sometimes we do over approximate, and that's okay. Let's add vertically. 38% plus 25%, that's 63%. And then 16% plus 22%, that's 38%. All right, let's answer the rest of the questions. It says, what is the relative frequency of girls who played? I think this is who did not play. This is a typo, okay? So get rid of that. So what is the relative frequency of girls who did not play basketball? So 22%, okay? What percentage of boys play basketball? So 38%. Thank you. What percentage of students played basketball? So that's going to be at the very bottom, right? 63% right here. And the last one, what percentage of students are girls? 47. Okay? So the homework that you guys have is this. Okay? By the way, I forgot to tell you, if you go to page 2, go to the second page in the back, you see number 4? Mr. Rienstra said, get rid of that one. I think number 4 is the one, it looks like this. Let me...
Black, brown, red.
Yeah, it's the one that has like a huge set of data that's going to take you like 20 minutes to get everything done. Okay? So he said, get rid of that. They have enough practice with the other ones. So your homework is to do that other page. Remember, rip out the first page, put that in your notes. Only the second page is homework. Okay? So I'll stop the recording there. If you guys need to see this again, you can get it on YouTube.